Gaila kasla hamatlalokulatle. Gaila kasla nuqam qumkilagilis. Qayurlana qumux. I'd like to welcome you all here into Qumugwe. The name of this house is Qumugwe, and it was built by our grandfather, the late Chief Andy Frank, in the 1950s. He wanted to use this house as an educational tool. And I think that's really an important thing to say on this day in particular, is he wanted it to use this house to educate people from outside of our community. He also wanted to preserve our traditions so that we would be able to hand it down to our children and our children's children and so on through the generations. And so for all of you that deal with education and you deal with our children, we think it's really important that you come into the house that our grandfather built so that you can learn about our people. We feel that it's crucial that you understand a little more about the Indigenous people of this territory. And for a lot of people, the idea of traditional territory can sometimes be hard to stomach. The idea that our people have lived here for countless centuries, countless generations. And over the past 200 years, a lot of things have changed. For so many years, we've had this notion, basically North American society has had this notion that this was an empty wilderness. That when the people first came here from Europe, they came to an empty wilderness with only a few natives. But in reality, we had thousands upon thousands upon thousands of people living in our villages. If you were to look at an archaeological map of the Comox Valley, you'll see village sites all throughout this estuary. That was all waterfront. And so our people had village sites all through this territory, not just this one. This one village site here is relatively recent. These other ones are thousands of years old. This area that was once so populated by our ancestors was decimated to at one point only a few dozen people. What you see now in our community, we've really turned things around. We've turned the corner and we're bringing back so many of our traditions and teaching our young ones our traditions. And that's where I want to finish up today, is to talk about or to think about the positive elements that are in our community. To share the fact that we're teaching our young ones our traditional ways, that they're taking on dances that their ancestors used to do. It's amazing what our traditions do for our young ones in terms of giving them confidence and being able to get out in front of large crowds. They've done Big House Experience for years, where they always encounter kids from their school, from their own grade in a lot of cases. It gives them a lot of confidence, and it takes a lot for a young one to get up in front of his peers and share their traditions with with their classmates. And what I find really telling in this day and age, though, is then when they go back to school the next day, their friends usually say, "I wish I was First Nations." And so things have really changed in perception and acceptance of First Nations culture. And that makes us feel really good that we're heading in the right direction on that front.